nonsense today. Hashtag voted off the island. They're homeless. See what's going on, big guy.
May as well be. Look, FSU continues to engineer the absolute destruction of the ACC, and today's Board of Regents meetings didn't change that at all whatsoever. Florida State has basically all but said we will not be in the ACC, if not by 2023, 2024 year, by 2025 at the latest. There is a deadline for the ACC, for FSU to declare to the ACC whether or not they choose to be in that conference. That deadline is August 15th. Now, it's weird that the Board of Regents had a meeting today, just 13 days before that meeting, before that deadline. Now, I watched that meeting. I have never in my life watched a Board of Regents meeting ever. We went through multiple things about the College of Medicine and the nursing thing.
Steve, we don't need a recap of the bullshit.
It comes all the way down to the point of they went around the room. Each one of the Board of Regents specifically said that we are in favor of leaving the ACC. Not a single person questioned or said that they aren't sure if this is the right move. Now, you have to keep in mind, these aren't people. These people aren't all athletic related people. Like, some of them are deans, and they do things within the school that are outside of what you and I watch on TV on Saturday. But they're all in the understanding that in order to make FSU better, that leaving the ACC is in fact the best move. That's impressive. The president came out and said, and I'll quote, "We of course are not satisfied with our situation. We love the ACC. We love our partners with the ESPN. Our goal would be to continue that relationship, but at this point, that does not seem feasible." This is the president of Florida State, who is not typically at these meetings. So as we get closer and closer and closer to this April 15th deadline, there could or not be an announcement. But the fact that FSU, for at least the last year to 2 years, has basically gone out there and been the spearhead of getting themselves out of this conference. Now, look, Clemson looks like they have started to follow. North Carolina looks like they have started to follow. Miami. There's other schools that have started to follow the lead. But at this point, I can look back at the leadership that FSU has had, whether it be the president, the athletic director, just the harmony between the two, even the head coach of the football program in the last 20 years. And I've never seen something where a school has gone and been so aggressive about just flat out telling the public, this is what we're doing. And the only reason I can imagine that we are doing that, and the reason that our messaging is so strong in that regard, is because we know there's a home. So whether it turns out to be the SEC, whether it turns out to be the Big Ten, if FSU is able to get themselves free of the ACC, it sounds like they are confident that there will be more than one bidder to get them where they want to be financially. So my question
for you, Steve,
yep.
I feel like I was watching the damn board meeting again. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of the ACC?
This was the divorce conversation.
So, if you guys leave, it's just the writing on the wall that everyone else is going to leave. Mm-hmm. The Pac-12 is in shambles. We talked about this when the noise started of realignment. When USC and UCLA kicked things off, the conversation of a Big 3 or a Big 2 started. Mm-hmm. The Pac-12, or the Big 12, is doing everything in their power to stay alive. And I think they're doing a good job of it. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Big Ten, because it sounds like the Big Ten's snatching Oregon and Utah, I believe, were the two names that I saw. Which if they also take FSU, which would be a lot more. Where does the SEC go after that? They're just being gobbled up by these conferences. And look, the Big Ten seems to be in favor of FSU, but also the Big Ten's not going to wait around for FSU. There's plenty of opportunities that in the Pac-12, all the teams in the Pac-12, it seems like their divorce is already over. They're just trying to find a new wife, where you're still trying to find that separation. So FSU's trying to not get behind. I think they see the writing on the wall, and they don't want to be standing there at the bus stop 5 minutes late.
I agree. And look, I mean, there's a little bit more legalities for FSU to get out of the ACC, much more so than what the Pac-12 teams have to go through, which is why you see a Colorado leaving right away, which is why you see that there's a potential of an Oregon or a Washington that could just get out. The ACC has some legal hurdles that they have to overcome if they were to make a move to the Big Ten. And what's going to happen here is that the ESPN already owns the rights to FSU's media, right? When it comes to games, they already own that. So we would essentially, if we were to get out of the ACC, that would expose us to whether or not ESPN wants to leave us on the market. And if they do, the Big Ten won't be far behind with the contract. If they choose not to, then we can bypass the grant of rights because we're staying within an ESPN platform.
Interesting. Look, it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm ready for it to be done and over with, and for it to be settled. But I think it's gonna be longer than what it appeals. Real quick.